York County Gospel Choir is a gospel choir. You know, when you talk about gospel, what does it mean? It means good news. So this is what the York County Gospel Choir is all about, bringing good news through music. When you receive a $1,000 check, you're not going to sit there and say, oh, I received a $1,000 check. You're going to be happy about it. You're going to say, oh, I received a $1,000 check. I'm going out and buy something with it. The sweetest name I know, Jesus, I'll tell it wherever I go. My name is David McCoy, and I am the accompanist and the director for the York County Gospel Choir, which is a community choir from York, Pennsylvania.
And one more shot. Eyes right here. One more. Okay, good.
I worked for a photographer at the time for 50 cents an hour, and I wanted to get involved with photography, and I knew my parents would have a hard time sending me to school, so I knew I had to save more money. And I asked my boss for a raise, the photographer for a raise. And rather than give me the raise, he fired me for asking for a raise.
Light is brilliant. It's a beacon. It attracts your attention. It bathes you in that illumination that allows things to happen. And that's what creativity is, and that's what YORKÁRTS is all about.
I remember in Clark Alley, in back of the Vigilant Fire Station, I see this motorist come driving down Clark Avenue in the floodwaters, and I thought, what's he doing? Where does he think he's going? And he was going slowly, the car started to float. So he put it in reverse, and much to my surprise, the rear wheels were spinning, and suddenly the car started to slowly back up into water, and he actually got it back onto the ground where he could drive it away. That was unbelievable. I wouldn't have believed that if I hadn't seen it.
I kept going out, and I seen it up at King and Newberry Street, and I came in and said, there's furniture floating down Newberry Street now.
Ground was completely saturated, so that left only the creek to flood.
Who's coming in now? It's almost time for us to go home. And she said, oh, it's just Bots, her husband. So when Bots came walking through the other office there, and I thought I kind of saw a head behind him, but I wasn't sure. And so Bots comes and hands me this little bag of cherry tomatoes, and he said, this is for you, Hannah. And then Todd pops out from behind Bots, and he said, and this is for you, Hannah. And he hands me this silver box. And right away my heart started pumping, and I said, Todd, you didn't find my ring. And I took the lid off of it, and there it was, and I was just so excited, and I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, and I picked it up, and I just looked at it, and I still can't believe it. Every time I look at it, I can't believe that I have this after 52 years.
There's always enough room for beer. No one complains when a new burger shop opens, like, oh man, we have too many burgers in town. And it's the same with beer. If you're making good beer, people will drink it. I'm Evan Ben, and I am the beer columnist and food critic for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
You want to go?
I'll let you take this one.
Well, I really think the future is teaching. So many, I'm just talking with these guys here earlier, so many people think I could never learn to play a stringed instrument. And I really, there's something mysterious about slide guitar playing in particular. It's not that mysterious at all. And because I think it's so, you don't have to build up calluses like on a normal guitar. a lot of people quit playing guitar, even as adults. They start and it hurts. I mean, steel strings hurt. They just hurt when you fret them on the press down. So slide, not an issue. They maybe get spooked by 6 strings. Well, how about 3, 2, 1, a diddly bow? Yeah.
One's a great one to start. I mean, so many children started out on 1 string back in the Depression era, and even back to today. We're teaching people again how to get back to the 1 string. You know, we went through in the 80s. We went through Casio keyboards. You went through all these electronic instruments and all these toys that kids they were marketing to kids, that you pressed a button and it did everything. Well, now we're kind of hitting the brakes, throwing it into reverse, and we're putting a single string on a box and giving it to a kid and saying, connect with the music.
Actually, let me expand the question to what's the future of homemade instruments and what. Okay, so the thing is that, in my opinion, so homemade instruments sort of help, they sort of free you from having to have a store-bought instrument. So when I was younger, back in 2004, before I built my first cigar box guitar, I sort of had guitar envy or guitar lust, okay? And so you go into a music store and you think, there are all these great guitars, I really wanted to have a Parker Fly, which is like a, really cool electric guitar. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is thousands of dollars, and, I'm trying to, is this going to really make me into a better player? And the answer is no. I'm already as good a player as I'm ever going to be. So but when you're building your own instrument, where the cost of the instrument is less than $20, then it's now okay. It's in your fingers. It's not the guitar itself.
Last night he kicked a 52-yard field goal, and I thought, you know what, we're going to let him see if he can hang one out there. And we work on it at practice. We start at one end and we drive, and when we get down, we kick extra points the first time, then we turn around and drive, and then we kick field goals the next time. And when you have a weapon like that, you got to try and give him a shot. And he's a freshman, but I mean, the field goals are fantastic, but when he can kick the ball in the end zone for us, another team starting on the 20-yard line is humongous for us. And I can't say enough about him. He works his butt off too.
I just kept my mind clear. I relaxed. I knew that my line would hold for me and my holder would get it down for me, so I was confident in myself.
I don't know how I mean, it's fantastic. I don't know. I'm giddy as a little schoolgirl.
Very important to have a library in your town. In this town, the kids walk here. I don't know that if they had to be driven somewhere, it would be less likely to be used. We kind of use this not just as a library, but as a gathering place too. It's not a community center, but it is a place for the kids to get together.
2, 3, 4 yellow. I never really counted them all. I made, it's called Pineapple Honey. It's jellies and jams and honeys, and there's several different classes on the next page. Some years were good and some weren't. My mother also entered the same thing, and my grandmother and I won first prize.
It's our time to sing together. It's our time to sing together. Sing hello, hello, and stop.
There's been a proven link between music and mathematic ability. Across the boards, developmentally, it just impacts so many areas. Mastering things as simple as a steady beat is important for children learning to initially walk, learning to read, learning to write, learning to bounce a basketball, cutting with scissors. So that even that early exposure to a steady beat of a rhythm stick or shaking the eggs is integral in a lot of different facets of learning. There's so much stimulation in kinder music, so we take a time where we're completely still, where we actually, the adults, the parents, and the kids, we lie down on the floor and we just listen to music and we're quiet and we're still.
2012, we were told that we would be going to West Virginia. And Madison, West Virginia is a very, very poor area there. But I didn't know it until we got there and saw what was going on. We went there because God told us to go, and we were supposed to go to a certain area and pray, and then we were supposed to go to another area and just minister to the people. So that's what we did. But when we got there and we went to the church, and another thing he told us before we got there, we would not be staying in a hotel.